Welcome. Yes, this is the Sports Card Lessons Podcast. You know the drill. Like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Thanks for being here. You know, one of the last things I said on Monday's episode is I'll have to write a new hobby lesson plan. And man, that got me thinking after I stopped recording. You know, when I was a teacher, every year we used to have to create a goal. You know, it could be self-improvement, classroom improvement, new lessons plans, anything like that. But it was a goal to improve. It was to improve something. And at the beginning of every year, I would have to decide what it was, and create a timeline, write it all out, what I was going to do, create a timeline on how I would accomplish said goal. So today I present to you my 2023 goal, my road to national. And this is part 1 of 5. And each month I will dedicate one episode to go over the progress and just talk about the changes, any changes I have to make on my timeline, anything that's come up, anything I have to add to it or take away. But today is March 1st. So we've got 5 months, 5 episodes. And starting right out, here is my to-do list and my timeline as of right now. So some of the boxes I've already checked off, right? So I already have my table at National. I have my hotel room reserved. I have my plane tickets purchased. So those things are already done. Check, check, check. And because I set up at National, inventory is probably going to be the most important thing for me to prepare, what I'm bringing out there to put in my cases on the table. And my goal right now, as you know, I put this timeline together and create this goal. My goal between now and July is to acquire football cards, all QBs, all quarterbacks, all graded, and in the price range, and I'm going to say national price range, meaning this is by what I foresee when I'm there in July and I'm putting prices on these cards. These are what the prices of these cards are going to be. Not necessarily what I'm going to pay for them between now and then, but what I'm going to be selling them for. And the price range I have selected is $500 to $3,500, and I think that's just such a good range of with limited space in such a big room. I don't want to have many common cards. I don't want to have cards that people are going to see in everybody else's case. I'm hoping to have to select cards, and I've been talking about this all along. The things I like are these low pop count cards, these cards that are, you're not going to see at every show. So this is my goal, right? These are my goal, to fill my case up with cards. When people come by and they look in, they're going to be like, oh, wow, that's nice. I didn't even know that existed. That's the car I want to buy. And buying these cards now through the spring and into early summer should give me the biggest margins, come July. I should be able to get cards at a great price. But the most important thing is the strong hands, right? Is not to be selling these cards before National. And if I do want to put them in a case between now and then I should be pricing them accordingly, that what I feel I will be pricing them in July in Chicago. And I say this because I made a big mistake last year. Last year, when I was getting ready to just be an attendee at National, I was buying cards to bring out there with me. And then we ended up getting table space. So I knew I was setting up. So now I was excited. And this was kind of my goal last year, these 500 to, and I think last year my price range was 500 to 2,000. And I picked up a lot of great cards last year. The mistake I made was going to shows in May and June as I sold a lot of these cards. And then by the time I got to National, okay, I was cash heavy, but the prices on everything were so expensive that buying the cards, my margins were so slim, right? So, you see people, if you go to National, you see people that travel there and you can only bring so much stuff with you, right? So I was able to drive to New Jersey this past year. So I could bring a lot of extra stuff. I could bring inventory that I could just bring in extra boxes and leave under the table. And if somebody came in asking for this or that, I could pull it out. But I would see people that flew in from all over. They would come around on that Wednesday and they'd want to buy a box of cards. They were looking to buy inventory so they could put in their case, which works. I mean, I know it works if you can get, but the margins are not going to be that good, right? Not if you buy this card in March or April versus if you're buying first day of National in July, right? Your margins are going to be completely different on that, unless you have somebody there, that's selling at willing to sell at a reduced price to allow you to to leave some meat on the bone for you. But I don't know too many people who are going out there to say, hey, I want to sell this stuff at a discount. Everybody wants to get the most you can for your card if you're going out there to sell. So I don't want to make that mistake this year. So at this point, I am putting a box together that as I acquire these cards, I'm just going to put in a separate box. Right? I am not going to be bringing these back and forth to shows. And I think that's important. I think if I can stick to that strategy, that I will be fully locked and loaded come July with the best selection of cards I could imagine to put in my case. I feel the best way to accomplish this and to get these cards that I want to get is just to get out of my local area. And I'm not saying my local area is bad. It's fantastic. And I love my local area. I love being able to hit a show every weekend, or almost being able to set up at one every weekend too. But maybe just get out of the shows I go to. I get to know a lot of the same people. I know what cards they have. I'm friends with them, on Instagram and Facebook, and we're all posting stuff. So we all get an idea of what everybody else has. But what about all these other people, right? It's just getting out to these other shows and some bigger shows. So I've made a commitment, as part of my goal here, to get out to some bigger shows. So I have made plans already locked in to attend 3 shows, 1 show a month for the next 3 months that I've never attended before, that I've never been to before, that are larger shows. 2 of them I will be an attendee, and one of them I'll be setting up. So starting this month, with my good friend Rob, sports card therapist, we have made plans. We're going to hit the Philly show a week from Saturday. We've already made the plans to, drive down there. We've got some people we're going to see down there, but more importantly, it's a great show, and just get out there and walk the show and start seeing some things that, hopefully I can find some nuggets, right? Some low pop things that the price is right, that I feel that, it's down right now, that I can pick up and bring back and put away. And, a lot of people can't do that. And I think that's why the strategy works. A lot of people can't. A lot of people buy a card and the card's for sale. They buy a card, they immediately put a price on it, whatever their margin is, and it goes right back in their case. And they're basing it on today's prices, and they're basing it on current comps. But I feel if you can buy the cards now and you have the ability just to put them away and forget about them and then pull them back out in July, I think your margins can be so much bigger. And I know not everybody can do that. I'm happy that I'm able to do that. And, hopefully I can, get the best margins on all those cards. So yeah, we're doing the Philly show a week from Saturday. That'll be the March one. In April, I booked a trip to the Toronto Sports Card Expo. So I'm super excited about that. Um, I have a ton of hockey cards, and if you know my last couple of shows, I haven't sold any. And I think this is going to be a good way. I'm not giving up on hockey. I'm going to keep the hockey, but I think this is a good way for me maybe to maximize, my hockey cards. I mean, my goal is to go up there, and I know that show is going to be probably 75 to 80% hockey, and that's why I'm bringing my hockey cards there. But it's a sports expo. I mean, there's going to be football there. I may be able to find some great cards there. I may be able to, trade some of my hockey into football, or just be able to sell some hockey and buy some football, or just be able to sell some hockey. Right? One of my goals was to when football season ended was to I'd already purchased a bunch of hockey cards. I wanted to, get them out there and then, have things to sell at shows for a few months before football, jumps back in again. But it looks like, if you listen to Monday's episode, it looks like football's really not going away this year. Like people are really, you know, they want to keep it going. They want to keep the football going. And I almost believe that there's so many people in the hobby now and so many new people in the hobby that are like, you know what? I like football. I don't want to start collecting all these other things. I just want to collect football. And I want to be able to go to the shows in February, in March, in April, and buy and sell football. I want to keep it going all year round. And I think it's something that we're going to start seeing from now on a lot of sports. I think people are going to be surprised, that when basketball season ends, the basketball cards are still going to be selling. And, when baseball ends, I just think almost every sport could be a year-round sport now. So yeah, I'm hoping there's lots of football out there, in Toronto and at our local shows here too. In May, I booked a table at the Fenway show at Fenway Park. Um, and that's a show I've never done before. I know um, it was pretty big last year. A lot of people were excited for that show, so I'm happy to be able to get a table at that show this year and set up. Don't even know what to expect, but I would have to think by the end of May, the prices, on football are going to be on the rise. So I'm hoping to, have acquired maybe half my cards, if not 60 to 70%, maybe even 75% by the end of May. I don't know, with the margins, what kind of buying opportunities are going to come in June. Although I was that guy making that mistake last May and June, selling my cards. And then when I got to National and I saw what the prices were on these cards, I was like, "Oh man, I should have never sold." And I mean, when I sold them, I had a margin. I made my margin. I was happy to sell them, but it could have been much different for me there. And then when I got there, people were coming to the table with cards, and I was buying cards, but now the margins are slimmer and slimmer, but you're really not doing much, right? You're buying a card from one guy, dropping it in the case, and within an hour, somebody else comes by and buys the card. So you really haven't had to have done a lot, and you didn't have to sit on a card for 4 or 5 or 6 months to make a smaller profit. So that's okay. My goal with these cards is, and I'm talking about having, 50, 60, 75%. My goal is to have about 30 of these cards. That, and I talked about the price range from 500 to 3,500, but no less than 25. I mean, I certainly can't go out there with less than 25 cards that I know are going to sell well. And I've already started. I already acquired my first card this week, just to get me started. And I'll keep you updated too on the cards that I'm purchasing too, in these updates. But I purchased 2019 Jalen Hurts XRC PSA 10. Bought that one online, and after I came home from the show Sunday And Sunday night, I recorded the podcast and I put it out there. I mean, I think after I finished the pod, I was online looking at football. Like, okay, if football is going to keep going, let me see what these prices are. What are we working with? Uh, where where's the best deals right now? And yeah, I just got a fantastic deal. And as a matter of fact, I had I had this exact same, not this card, but the exact same card um, in my inventory, and I sold that in Terrytown for over $1,000, and literally just bought this card back um, at 50% of that. So I'm pretty excited to be able to get that card at that price. And I also have 3 cards from my own inventory that I've gone through that I'm adding to that as well. So also, they're all XRC PSA 10s. I have a Josh Allen, a Justin Herbert, and a Trevor Lawrence. Now, I acquired these cards last year. After I don't even remember if it was before National or after National. I know the Josh Allen, I purchased that National last year. The Justin Herbert came after National. I think that probably the Herbert, I think, came in September. I'd have to go back and look. And the Trevor Lawrence came also in the summer. I think it was just after National. I purchased that at a local card show. So these are 3 cards that I purchased, and I never moved, although they've been in my case because the prices had dropped down on them. I bought them at a good price, and then the prices dropped a little bit lower below that. And I certainly, those are 3 great cards that I'm not going to sell at a loss. So I just hung on to them, and I'm happy I did. I'm happy to have these cards. And, you know, people are always asking about them in the case. They love the cards. I mean, the price just wasn't right for them compared to current comps. So I'm happy to have them. Now I'm happy just to hold them. I've held them this long. It's almost like found money, right? And I am going to hold on to these. I'm going to put them in that box, strong hands, and we'll hold them till July. One other thing I'm committed to is a video diary or a vlog. Pretty sure they're the same thing, but either way. Yeah, I've ordered some equipment so I can start videotaping, you know, what I'm doing at shows, the ones I'm setting up at, as well as the ones I'm going to be attending. So you know, it's going to be all new. I'm a complete rookie at this. I'm hoping I'm going to be a natural at it, but who knows? You know, I'm going to be doing some traveling. I've got, you know, I'm going to be videotaping some stuff and just, you know, just kind of put it together best I can, and you know, put it out there and let you guys check it out and just see what I'm doing, you know, how I'm doing it, and you know, just participating, just getting out there and doing these things, just being in the hobby, being a part of the hobby. And I know I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be able to do this because there are not a lot of people that could have, you know, or do have the time and you know, the ability to go out and do all these things. So I'm certainly blessed and thankful to be able to do this stuff, and it's what I choose to do. I'm excited to do it. So this is part 1 of 5. Stay tuned. It's going to be fun. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. And if you like what you hear, please definitely subscribe, and most importantly, tell a friend and spread the word. And until next time, take care of yourselves and everyone around you.